At a bustling military base in Afghanistan, the mess hall was a welcome escape from the desert heat. Laughter and clatter filled the air as soldiers from different units shared meals and stories. Among them was Lieutenant Commander Reaper Jackson, a seasoned Navy SEAL known for his sharp skills and even sharper wit. Today, he was holding court, regaling his team with a tale from their latest mission. His voice, a low rumble, carried easily over the din. As he paused for a drink, his eyes landed on a lone figure at a nearby table. It was a young woman, no older than her mid-20s, dressed in a standard-issue uniform. She was focused on her meal, seemingly oblivious to the boisterous crowd around her. Reaper, never one to miss an opportunity for some light-hearted banter, nudged his teammate. "Check it out," he said with a grin. "Fresh meat. Let's go say hi." He strolled over to her table, his team trailing behind him like a pack of wolves. He leaned against the table, flashing what he considered his most charming smile. "Hey there," he began, his voice laced with playful confidence. "You look a little lost." First time in the sandbox, the woman looked up, her expression unreadable. She had calm, intelligent eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. "Something like that," she replied, her voice even. Reaper's grin widened. He loved a challenge. "Well, welcome to the party. I'm Lieutenant Commander Jackson, but my friends call me Reaper." He gestured to his team. "And these are the guys who make sure I don't get into too much trouble." A few of his men chuckled, puffing out their chests. "So," Reaper continued, leaning in a little closer, "what's your story? What's your rank, anyway?" Tres y cuatro. It was a teasing question, a common icebreaker among soldiers, but his tone implied she was just a junior enlisted member, fresh out of basic training. The woman set down her fork, her gaze never leaving his. A small, almost imperceptible smile touched her lips. The mess hall around them seemed to fade into the background as everyone in earshot waited for a reply. She took a slow sip of water, then met Reaper's cocky stare heading. "Major," she said simply. "Dr. Eris Thorne, I'm the lead trauma surgeon here, and you and your men are in my hospital." The air in the mess hall suddenly went still. Reaper's smile froze on his face. The laughter from his team died in their throats. Major, a field-grade officer. Not only that, a doctor. The lead surgeon in the military hierarchy. A major outranked a lieutenant commander. It was a significant difference, and Reaper had just patronizingly asked a superior officer, and a critical one at that, for her rank. The silence was deafening. You could hear a pin drop. Reaper, for the first time in what felt like years, was utterly speechless. His face went from tan to a pale shade of white, then flushed a deep crimson. He snapped to attention so fast he nearly gave himself whiplash. "Ma'am," he stammered, his voice cracking. "My sincerest apologies, ma'am. I had no idea." His team, looking horrified, scrambled to stand at attention as well, their earlier bravado completely gone. Dr. Thorne watched them for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then, the corner of her mouth twitched, and a genuine smile broke across her face, followed by a soft laugh. The tension in the air instantly evaporated. "At ease, gentlemen," she said, her voice warm. "And please, call me Aris." "Major makes me feel old." She picked up her fork again. "And Commander," she added, looking directly at Reaper. "I appreciate the welcome. It's been a while since anyone tried to guess my rank." Reaper let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. He felt a mix of profound embarrassment and immense relief. He had misjudged her completely. He saw a young woman in a uniform and made a snap judgment based on her appearance. A rookie mistake he'd lecture his own men about. She wasn't just a soldier. She was a highly skilled surgeon, someone who held lives in her hands every single day. He cleared his throat, humbled. "Well, Aris," he said, his voice returning to its normal register. "It's an honor. And for the record, if any of my guys end up on your table, they're in the best hands." Aris nodded. "I'll take good care of them, but let's hope it doesn't come to that. She glanced at his half-eaten plate. Now, finish your lunch, Commander. You look like you could use it. As Reaper and his team retreated to their table, the buzz in the mess hall slowly returned to normal, though now it was filled with whispers about the SEAL who got put in his place. Reaper sat down, still feeling the heat in his cheeks. His teammates were uncharacteristically quiet, glancing at him with a mixture of amusement and sympathy. One of them finally broke the silence. Well, that was something, he muttered. Reaper ran a hand over his face, then let out a short laugh. Yeah, it was, he admitted. Lesson learned: never judge a book by its cover, especially not in this place. He looked over at Aris's table. She caught his eye and gave him a subtle, knowing nod before returning to her meal. In the weeks that followed, Reaper and Aris developed a unique friendship built on mutual respect. He'd often see her in the mess hall or walking around the base, and they'd exchange stories. He learned about the grueling hours she worked, the life-and-death decisions she made in the operating room. She, in turn, learned about the silent high-stakes world of special operations. One evening, a mass casualty event overwhelmed the base hospital. A convoy had been hit by a complex attack, and wounded soldiers were pouring in. The hospital was a scene of controlled chaos. At the center of it all was Aris. Her calm demeanor never wavered as she moved from patient to patient, her hands working with a speed and precision that was mesmerizing. Reaper's team was tasked with providing extra security for the hospital. From his post, he watched Aris work. He saw her stabilize a soldier with a severe chest wound, her voice a steady, reassuring presence amidst the pain and fear. He saw her console a young Marine who had lost a limb, her compassion as evident as her medical skill. In that moment he realized her battlefield was just as intense as his, her courage just as profound. She wasn't just a doctor. She was a warrior in a different kind of uniform. Later that night, when the last patient was stable, Reaper found Aris sitting alone outside the hospital, staring up at the star-filled desert sky. She looked exhausted, her scrubs stained and her face etched with fatigue. He quietly approached and handed her a bottle of water. "You were incredible tonight, Aris," he said softly. She took the water with a grateful smile. "Just doing my job, Commander." "No," he insisted. "It was more than that. You're a lifesaver." Literally. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, the sounds of the base a distant hum. "You know," Aris said finally, breaking the quiet. "I was nervous my first day here. It's a different world. I wasn't sure how I'd fit in." Reaper chuckled. "Well, you certainly made an impression on me." She laughed, a tired but genuine sound. "I guess I did. Maybe I should have just let you keep thinking I was an E3. "No way," Reaper said, shaking his head. "I'm glad I was put in my place. It was a good reminder that rank and appearance don't define a person's worth or ability. Strength comes in a lot of different forms." He looked at her, his expression serious. "You're one of the strongest people I've ever met, Aris." She met his gaze, and in her tired eyes, he saw not just a doctor or a major, but a comrade. The encounter in the mess hall had started as a joke, a moment of misplaced arrogance, but it had grown into a powerful lesson and a deep, abiding respect. From that day on, Lieutenant Commander Reaper Jackson never forgot that the quietest person in the room might just be the most formidable, and he made sure his team never forgot it either. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this.